Because I think what is lacking that Wall Street and the big guys have is opportunity to have information very quickly regarding different short interest data and analytics and what's actually happening in the cycle. Here's a fact. Ortex, which is a short interest data website, has a T2 cycle, meaning that we have 2 days until the return shares on any sort of loan are reported to the average retail investor. And what's sad about that is that the average Wall Street guy will get that information much quicker than the little guy over here on the streets will. It would be a huge, monumental sort of shift that would happen and give some more, availability and free market to the retail investor.
What about, would it do anything for naked shorting, or or do they just simply have to enforce the rules for that?
So naked shorting, it's funny, Charles, because I saw on CNBC that Melissa Lee had slipped up and talked about naked short selling. Now, this is something that the retail investor and the apes have been talking about for about 6 months now, watching, AMC stock particularly. This is blatantly happening. And there are a lot of rules and regulations that are coming out, and a settlement time of T0 would definitely crack down on a lot of this naked short selling. The system is built in a way that these guys can get away with it. In fact, they slipped it up so easily on CNBC that it didn't even seem like a big deal. It was nonchalant. However, it's an illegal practice, and that illegal practice needs to get cracked down on.
This number is the 20-day cumulative total of this number. So over the past 20 days, the dark pool has resulted in a net purchase of $24 billion, or a net purchase of 470 million shares. That's right. Over the past 20 days, a total of 470 million shares have been purchased on the dark pools. Okay, that's what the numbers are showing. That is the absolute fact. So how is it possible that 470 million shares were purchased on the dark pools when only 500 million shares are in the total float and retail investors own 80% of the shares? None of this makes any sense. It is a sign of massive market manipulation to keep the price of AMC down. So there we have it, from FINRA's own numbers reported to the NASDAQ. We either have massive covering of naked shorts or massive market manipulation pushing the price of AMC down. It is proof. It is right here. 470 million shares purchased in the dark pools in the last 20 days. It's undeniable. I sincerely hope somebody from the SEC is watching this video, because there is no doubt you cannot explain these numbers any other way. This is flat out naked shorts covering or massive market manipulation. In an ideal world, everybody would hold their AMC shares and AMC would quickly rise well above $1,000. But in an ideal world, everybody would hold their AMC shares and AMC would quickly rise well above $1,000. But in an ideal world, everybody would hold their AMC shares and AMC would quickly rise well above $1,000.
Note to self: do not sell, hold AMC. Buy more when it dips.
In an ideal world, everybody would hold their AMC shares and AMC would quickly rise well above $1,000. But in the real world, retail investors continue selling every time AMC gets above $60.
Look at the trading volume on all of the days, Let's go all the way back down to June 2nd and then June 3rd and take a look at these. They said it was 753 million. We know that there's 513 million. Now that's a huge number. And again, these are not all shares being traded. Some shares are traded multiple times, but you got to think to yourself, how many of these shares are being traded by retail investors? Okay, we've been diamond handing basically since March 11th. We could prove that, some even longer than that. And then you say, okay, we own 80% of it. That means we have about 391%. And you could say we've been diamond handing a large majority of that, not trading it. So that means the institutions, they have 119 million shares that they can do this with. So if you telling me 119 million shares are basically being traded 7 times over, 4 times over, 3 times over, every single day. That's hard to believe. It could happen, but remember, family, when you're looking for synthetic shares, it's hard to prove that they exist, but if it look like a duck, it quack like a duck, it's probably a duck.
I just don't see it. I don't see the bet against this right now. The shorts are getting more egregious. They're getting bigger. It's trending up as the stock is trending up, which means more people are, I guess, let's call it like a burning room that they're stuck in. These shorts, like they're just absolutely trapped. And for whatever reason, they're calling up their buddies and they're saying, hey, I'm trapped in this pretty horrible situation. Do you want to come and join me for the lulz, I guess? Like, I guess we're taking on dumb money. I'm told this is easy money, but thus far, I've done nothing but hemorrhage money. How do I know that they're hemorrhaging money? They've been in this trade. On average, the shares have been loaned out against AMC for around 50 days, which means they got in around the $10 mark.
People really, getting into this game of very active trading, finding these very volatile stocks and options to use in this way. Do you think it's just a phase? What's your top level thought on what this means for the market?
Do I think it's a phase? No. I think it's way bigger than a phase. I think it's you're watching something or you're witnessing history, which is a transformational. It's almost like a transfer of one generation to the next, or it's the opening up of the markets to a new generation. So no, I don't think it's a phase. I think what we're witnessing right now is something that's actually really important and really cool to see.
And yes, there's a time when shorts matter. When a company is overvalued and they short the stock and bring it down to where the value is, that's fair. But when they put out false report after report after report after report, and they do things like create shares that don't exist, and they're forcing the doors closed, man, when we win this battle, I'm just going to go to the nearest AMC. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to watch a movie. I'm going to drink on a Slurpee. And I'm a little ghetto, so I'm going to sneak a little chicken wings in or something, like some popcorn in. But I'm going to patronize the booth. And I'm going to say, you know what? We did this. And so I just want to say, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything.
You have got to be kidding me.
Don't knock it till you try it.
I want to talk about the Reddit community itself for a moment, right? Yesterday, someone posted a link to an SEC S4 amendment filing. It was from Northern Star Investment Corp. 2. And it pointed to a legal proceeding on page 186. Now, part of it read, plaintiffs allege that Apex, along with over 30 other brokerage, trading firms, and or clearing firms, including Robinhood, Barclays, Citadel, and DTCC, engaged in a coordinated conspiracy in violation of antitrust laws to prevent retail customers from operating and trading freely. Now, to stop losing money on short sell positions. Why do the pros keep underestimating your intelligence and how committed you are to this?
I think these pros, the people who quote unquote are smart money, don't understand that the retail investor is not stupid. The average person out there can put together a lot of different resources, due diligence, crunch numbers, whatever it may be, and find out some really cool things. This is news, but it's not new news. These are things that we have uncovered over the last 6 months as individual retail investors doing research on the stock.